I begin every morning in my 5th grade advisory with silence. Which is a little strange because I'm a digital media arts teacher, and in silence, there is no media. There's no internet, television, or radio blaring information at you. There's no parent or teacher or rabbi or priest or minister explaining the world to you. There is only thyself and existence. 15 years ago, I was at a party, and I met the head of a Friends school. And I have to confess, at that time, I didn't really know anything about Friends education. And I knew very little about Quakerism itself. In fact, I only knew 3 things. I knew Quakers were pacifists. And I knew that my great-great-great-great-great-uncle, George Clymer, was a Quaker. And he was a signer of the Declaration of Independence. That's pretty cool. Now, you see John Hancock's signature up there? That real big signature? Well, Uncle George's signature wasn't so big. You can see it's 2 under Ben Franklin's. He was in the Pennsylvania delegation. Now, I don't know what the significance of having a large signature or a small signature is on this document. I do know that if the British had come to hang them, it wouldn't have made any difference at all. Now, the 3rd thing I knew, this is my great-aunt Florence, or as we like to call her, Aunt Flossie. And Aunt Flossie, she wasn't a Quaker, but she was a Mennonite. And whenever she was given the task of babysitting myself and my brothers, and we were running around raising heck, and she wanted us to be quiet, she would say, Quaker meeting, Quaker meeting. And we would look up at her and say, but we're Jewish. Now that isn't exactly correct. You see, my father was Jewish, but my mother was Christian. And they were post-World War II, modern, educated, professional, secular people. And that's the way they brought us up. And they really left it up to us to figure our own spiritual paths. So, when I asked this head of a Friends school about Friends education, I was surprised when he turned to me and he goes, there's nothing like a Friends school education. 3 years later, he hired me to teach at his Friends school, Brooklyn Friends School. I was given the job of teaching 7th through 12th video. Pretty cool. I was able to make my own curriculum, buy all the equipment I needed, get textbooks. I was really quite excited about this. And coming from a background of working in small video and film companies for 20 years, it was quite a change. So I was really excited, especially when I went into my first class. It was 11th and 12th grade class, and they were about 7 kids. And I said, hi, I'm Andy Cohen, and I'm a professional filmmaker. And we've got this new equipment, and I'm going to show you how to research and write scripts and film things and edit things, and this will be great. And the collective expression on those students' faces was something like this. All I can think they were thinking was, what planet did this guy get off of? Now, I knew that first year was going to be raggedy, and in all likelihood, I would learn more from my students than they would from me, and which, in fact, was the case. The following week, I was assigned to the middle school, and the following week, I attended my first Quaker meeting. It was a middle school Quaker meeting. That's not the lighting. There it is. There's our middle school Quaker meeting. Just like that. Anyway, at the time, we were having our meeting in what we called our meeting house, which was also our theater. And I was told, go to meeting, sit down in silence for 40 minutes. If you feel motivated, stand and say something. And I thought, oh, this I can do. So I was also kind of curious about it, because in high school and college, I had done some meditation. And I thought, well, this will be a good chance to get back to it. So I went down to the meeting house, And I was about 5 minutes early. So I stuck my head in, and nobody was there. And there's a tradition in our school that the first one who enters the meeting begins the meeting. So I walked into the meeting, found a nice place to sit, sat down, rolled my shoulders, rolled my neck, sat up straight, began to breathe in and out, and in and out. Now, I wasn't totally out of it. I mean, I could sense others were entering the room and sitting down, but they were doing it nice and quietly, and so I just proceeded to breathe in and out. I got into a nice, centered down, great little place. Then I heard a voice. No, it wasn't that voice. It was that of a 6th grade girl who had stood in a meeting to speak. And I don't know what she said, but I can tell you it had a profound effect on me. Because when I opened my eyes, I was completely surrounded by the middle school in absolute silence. And they were listening to what she had to say. And at that moment, I was witnessing community, equality, simplicity, and integrity. Sign me up.